Hi, I'm Redmond from the School of Law in the University of Limerick, and I'd like to talk to you about the Greentown project. The Greentown project is a practical example of how the School of Law in the University of Limerick is trying to deal with a really problematic issue, and that issue is serious youth crime. You see, most children simply grow out of crime. By the time they get to their 20s, either due to maturation, brain development, or just taking on new responsibilities, they seem simply to grow out of it. But we also know that a small number of children are responsible for very serious crime, and those are the ones that we're interested in. I'm going to talk to you about the Greentown project, but first of all, a story that I think illustrates the point. A while ago, I was talking to a professional youth worker in our capital city, Dublin, who told me about a boy, a 16-year-old boy, who ran away from home. And he ran away from home because he'd run into debts with a local drugs gang. Now, that might not seem too surprising, but the rest of the story, I think, is surprising and quite shocking. He was asked by his mother to come back to take a beating from the local drugs gang because the local drugs gang had been making their family's life a misery, breaking the windows and making death threats in the street. I felt as a professional and a father that this was shocking and something needed to be done by it. Greentown is a real place with a fictitious name. In Greentown, we linked together individuals who were involved in serious crime, both adults and children. And what we tried to do in Greentown was to get under the bonnet about how these relationships work. When we think about youth crime, we often think about young people in gangs committing antisocial behaviour and minor crime. The young people that we found in Greentown were involved in very serious crime. They were also being recruited and groomed by young adults who were 21 or 22 years of age. And in turn, those young adults were led by a dominant criminal family based in the neighbourhood. The links between the family members in this dominant criminal family were based on trust, and which are really hard to penetrate. But the links that were between the criminal family and the young people and the young adults who were involved in the network activities seemed to be based on a kind of contract. Contracts, of course, are weaker than family bonds. Both sides of a contract can be opportunistic, and as we'll see later, this provides the opportunity to disrupt networks. Since the Greentown study, we've done a study to try and generalise the findings. A national survey that we did in 2017 indicates that approximately 1,000 children in the state may be involved in criminal networks. We've also conducted 2 replication studies in Redtown and Bluetown to see whether the specific relationships that we found in Greentown can be seen elsewhere. And before you think, why don't these children or young people just leave, try and put yourself in their position. They're in very closed environments and they're being actively groomed, coerced and mentored by some quite malign individuals. So how has the School of Law and the University of Limerick helped? We're working with government departments over 2018 and 2019 to bring together the best scientific expertise across the world to try and come up with a new, more effective programme for helping these young people to have better outcomes. And we now know the kind of ingredients that we need in these programmes. First of all, we have to help children to make better choices, to choose a good intervention programme to help them and their families to make better choices about pro-social activities. Secondly, we have to build community guardianship to help communities get back off their knees and take some of the control back from the criminal gangs. Thirdly, we have to provide real opportunities for those young people who've been dealing drugs to do something better. And fourthly, we need to use our expertise and knowledge to try and undermine those relationships, to reduce the influence of those networks so that we give children and young people a fair chance. Perhaps because we're taking such an innovative response in the university to such a troubling problem, the Greentown project is attracting lots of international interest. But more importantly, the University of Limerick will be using its expertise in a practical way on the ground to help a very vulnerable group of children. If you'd like to find out more about the work we're doing in relation to the Greentown project and the School of Law, or the work that we're doing in terms of assisting evidence-based youth crime policy, please contact us at the School of Law at the University of Limerick.